Hello, Alex. Very nice to have you here. Good evening.
It's nice to be here, thank you.
Yes, so we'll go straight into questions. The very first sentence in your manifesto says that campus community is a diverse one.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure that you can represent all students fairly?
I mean, representing all students fairly is the challenge. That is the goal for being a president. I suppose what the manifesto aims to do is to represent these communities as best as I can. And these policies aim to understand the priorities of communities as best I can and then fulfilling that goal.
Mm-hmm. So how are you trying to understand what the community needs?
Okay, yeah. So you've got, I sort of split it down. I looked at the sort of microcosms and how they build up to the university. So first you've got sort of societies which sort of look over lots of different niches in the community. And then you've got colleges and sports teams, and then you've got campuses. So a big part that I invest in my manifesto is college campus and HES East. And so in that is sort of looking at what ways I can build that. And so I'm going to do it first with a HES East Council, which effectively is a group of students, not just chairs, not just people that have been elected. This is first years, second years, third years, dedicated to the events and well-being of HES East students. And this is sort of one method of achieving, like, understanding a community and sort of acting on it.
Don't you fear that the HES East Council concept is just might seem that it is just a bit too much bureaucracy coming in?
I think to build the identity of that campus, I think should involve collaboration. And in talks with chairs, previous chairs and current chairs I had when building this manifesto, and it's all built on feedback, they agreed. They think that having collaboration, like having triple the sort of likelihood of attendance, triple the likelihood of sort of getting organisational power, is going to really help sort of build something unique in the HES East community, and then sort of managing to make something that the HES East students can be proud of and building their own identity through that.
Mm-hmm. So you said collaboration.
Yeah.
How will you force them to collaborate with you?
Yeah. I suppose the council, I suppose it's going to have a few different sort of directions. Obviously, it will have an event sort of motivation, but also in well-being, looking at how the students sort of like, I suppose, having different year groups in it, not just elected individuals, but also sort of first years and second years and third years, having them all in there, giving their own input is meant to sort of identify the niches that sort of need to be looked at through YUSU.
How will you reach out to them?
How through the committee.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you recruit effectively? How do you get them on? I suppose having an opportunity to contribute to your community is something that a lot of HES East students would welcome. And I think that they welcome the chance to be on board.
And now you say only HES East student, but HES West is the main area on our campus, and this is where most students come in. Even from HES East, they just spend time on HES West. How will you get that together? Yeah,
well, I suppose HES East is in most need of sort of an identity boost, because at the moment it feels like a bit of an appendix to the main campus, and that's something I wanted to address. But I'd like to... that fostering the identities of all the colleges is something I'm looking at, and I spoke to a lot of chairs and asked them what they think their college already does for them and how can we sort of nurture that. So I noticed as chair, I realised that people are involved with the Derwent community because they see Derwent students putting on Derwent events. They're like, okay, like this is run by our students, and this is why we feel like we're part of it. And I think the same can happen with Halifax or all the other colleges. For example, with Halifax, they've got a bar right next to 22 acres. They should have a bar. They've got that JJ's area right next to 22 acres. If Halifax became the place where people sort of went for a drink after sports games, that sort of develops their identity, that you nurture that. YUSU can nurture that and then allow sort of it to become something special.
Mm-hmm. And still, many students are passive.
Mm.
How will you ensure that they will start to get involved?
I think an event's mindset is useful with this kind of stuff. Like, how do you get students to engage? How do you get students to want to do things? And you've got to sort of incentivize them with getting them together and making them happy. Like, if that comes with sort of club night events, if that comes with sort of acoustic music and wine in the Alquin Bistro, if it comes with sort of the after sports drink at Halifax, it's a uniqueness, I think, is what's the pull there. It's the fact that you can't get that in any other place in the university. So you feel like you're part of something special.
Mm-hmm. So the very last question.
Go on.
Convince people in one sentence why they should vote for you.
I suppose when I was at Derwent Chair, I saw what it meant to be part of a real community, and that's been my driving force. And I'll put that into being Prez, and I'll put that into everything I do.